Welcome to the lecture on economic order quantity. What we see in the production operations, the company has to purchase the inventory items. The inventory items are purchased for the demand which is required. So, there is a some demand of any item for the whole year. Now, there can be two extreme cases that the purchase can be once in a year or on daily basis. Basically, the cost associated with these purchases and keeping these inventories in our store, we have to keep certain things in mind. When we order for the purchase of the goods, there is some cost associated with the ordering. So, there is some purchase cost for every order. So, the number of times we give the order to purchase the quantity, the purchase cost will go on increasing. On the other hand, we can take all the demand requirement at one time during the beginning of the year. Now, these are the extreme cases. When we keep the items in our store, it needs to be maintained. We need to maintain the cleanliness. So, associated expenses are like holding cost. Now, holding cost, in that case, when you purchase all the items once in a year, holding cost is quite high, because the items in stock is quite large in number and they are required to be kept in a good condition. So, holding cost is quite high. While if we purchase on daily basis, although the holding cost will be very small, but since we are purchasing on daily basis, the ordering cost or the purchase cost will be larger. So, basically the two extremes will lead to very large cost and the total cost will be basically very large. So, basically it is necessary to determine the quantity to be purchased in one order, that is through one purchase order, so that total cost is minimized. So, the quantity which we are purchasing in one purchase order, that is known as economic order quantity, because it leads to the minimum total cost. Now, let us see how to get the expression for this economic order quantity. So, let us say there is an item where the demand of item throughout the year is suppose D. So, D units are required for the whole year. Now, let us say the unit cost of the item let us see this is Ci. So, this is the cost of each item. Now, let us say cost of purchasing for one order, we can say we take it as Cp. This is the cost which is required, suppose for making the documents, for sending it, all these things are involved in this cost. So, once you are sending a purchase order, This is the cost which is involved. Apart from that, you have holding cost. Holding cost will be basically specified on per unit basis, per unit of the item for the whole year, that is per year. So, per unit per year, and say, let us say this is basically CH, cost of holding the items. Now, let us see, we take the quantity purchased in one order, let us assume it to be Q. So, in one order we are ordering for Q items. So, basically we will be ordering for D by Q times. Our ordering will be D by Q times, and that is why cost of purchasing for every order will be Cp times D by Q. So, we will have that. So, basically you have three types of cost. One cost will be the item cost. So, item cost per unit is Ci, and since we have the requirement of D items throughout the year, so item cost for the year will be Ci times D. This is per year. Then comes cost of purchase per year, purchase cost per year. So, what we have seen is, once we give the purchase order, for every time we are incurring the cost of Cp, and the number of times you have to give this purchase order will be nothing but the demand requirement divided by the quantity which you are ordering once. So, it will be D by Q. Then comes the holding cost. Now, holding cost will be basically, for this you need to know the average stock quantity at any time. Now, what we see is, in this case the inventory flow is going like this. You are ordering the quantity Q at this time, this Q is replenished in this time. So, we assume that the day you order you receive the material. So, there is no time delay in receiving the material, and it goes like this. So, this is how the amount of inventory in the stock will be there. You have Q at this time, but it will slowly be coming to 0, and at that time it is 0, the next day you are getting again Q. You do not assume any shortages, neither any delay. So, average inventory will be, can be assumed to be Q by 2, because it starts from Q and ends to 0. So, average level of inventory you can assume it to be Q by 2. So, holding cost per year will be holding cost per unit per year multiplied by the average inventory level. So, Q by 2, this is the holding cost. Now, let us see that we have to find for which Q the total cost will be 0. So, total cost will be basically item cost plus purchase cost plus holding cost. This is for the year. Now, if this total cost is written as T, so T will be item cost, that is Ci times D, plus purchase cost, that is Cp times D by Q, plus Ch times Q by 2. So, the total cost is to be minimized. So, you can get, for minimizing the total cost, and to obtain the value of Q for which this cost is minimum, we will differentiate this T with respect to Q and equate it to 0. So, we will find dt upon dq, and this we will be equating to 0. So, once we do the differentiation, what we get is minus of Cp times d by q square plus Ch upon 2 equal to 0. This implies that Ch upon 2 will be dCp upon q square, or we can write q as 2 times cost of purchase order, once we send one order, multiplied by the demand throughout the year upon the holding cost per unit per year and under root. For this Q, once we calculate this value, the total cost which we get will be minimum, and that is why this Q is known as economic order quantity. So, there are certain assumptions in this study. One is that demand is constant throughout the year. We have assumed that there is no time lag when the inventory is finished, level is finished, and the next inventory comes. So, upon these assumptions, this is how you calculate the economic order quantity. Let us see an example and try to solve it using this and see how this total cost will be minimum for this case. So, to find the economic order quantity for annual demand of an item to be 6000 units. So, D is 6000. Then we have item cost per unit as rupees 500. So, CI is 500. Ordering cost per purchase order is rupees 1000. So, CP is given as rupees 1000. And cost of holding the inventory per unit per year is given as rupees 48. So, CH is rupees 48. Now, in this case, if we see the economic order quantity for which the total cost will be minimum, so that can be found as under root 2 D Cp upon Ch. So, this will be under root 2 times D is 6000, Cp is 1000 upon Ch, that is 48. So, if we see this, so it will be 500. What we see is that if we order 500 items, the total cost will be minimum. So, the economic order quantity is 500. Let us check this by plotting the graph and looking at the values of total cost against these numbers. So, we can have the quantity as less than and more than this value and see what is the total cost. So, what we have seen, total cost expression as Ci times D plus Ch times Q by 2 plus Cp times D by Q. So, if the quantity is plotted against total cost, what we see? If we take suppose 300 items which is basically sent once, so total cost will be Ci times D. So, we will have Ci is 500 times our demand is 6000. So, it is 30 lakh plus Ch times Q by 2. So, it will be Ch is 48 into 300 by 2. So, it will be 7200 plus Cp times D by Q. Cp is 1000 times D by Q. So, D is 6000 and Q is 300. So, it is 20. So, it is 20,000. So, this comes out to be 3027200. Now, if we increase this quantity to 400, then in that case Ci times D is always constant. So, it will be 30 lakhs plus Ch times Q by 2. So, 200 times Ch, so it will be 9600. We see that this holding cost is increased once the quantity is increased. So, this will be 9600 plus purchasing cost Cp times D by Q. D by Q will be 15. So, 15 times Cp 15,000, and it comes out to be 30, 24, 600. So, we can further see at 500. At 500, the item cost will be 30 lakhs plus holding cost will be Ch times Q by 2. So, 48 times 500 by 2. So, it will be 12,000 plus Cp times D by Q. D by Q will be in this case 6,000 by 500, it will be 12. So, that times Cp, so 12,000. So, it will be 3024,000, 30 lakh 24,000. Now, let us see, we want to increase this number, we go to 600, item cost will be same plus the holding cost Ch into Q by 2, Ch is 48 and Q by 2 is 300. So, this will be 14,400 plus say Cp times D by Q. Now, D is 6,000 and Q is 600. So, D by Q is 10, 10 times Cp. So, it is 10,000. So, it becomes 30, 24, 400. What we see is that cost has increased. Let us further verify by keeping it 1000. If it is within the capacity, then using this 1000 your item cost will be coming as 30 lakhs plus holding cost will be Ch times Q by 2. So, 48 times 1000 by 2, it will be 24,000 plus what we see is the purchase cost, and that will be 1000 times 6000 by 1000, that is 6. So, 6,000. So, it will be 30,000, 30 lakhs 30,000. So, what we see is that as we increased from 300 up to 500, it decreased, and at 500 it was minimum. Once we went to 600 units of order once, then it increased slightly, and further again there is a increasing trend as we move further. So, if we plot the total cost against the quantity ordered, and if we take this in terms of lakhs, if we take here 30, 30.5 and suppose 31, in that case, and quantity ordered is 300, 400, 500, 600 and so 7, 8, 9 and 1000. In that case, what we see is, you see that it is something like this. On 30,000 you can have the scale even smaller one, 30 point suppose say 1 and 30.2 and 30.3. So, it will be in between 2 and 3, 30.27. So, it will be here 30.24. So, it will be here 30.24 again, in that case it was 246 and it is 24 here, and then 30.244 and at 1000 it is 30.3. So, what we see is, at this point you see that it is going like this. This is the minimum point, minimum total cost corresponding to Q equal to 500. So, that is how we see that if your quantity ordered in one lot is 500, the total cost is minimum. This can be verified. Thank you.